something in there. Yes, have a look. Can you see anything? You can't. Just have a look in the corner there. What? Oh, it's the poppets. Hello, my little poppets, mums and dads, and welcome back to story time once again. Well, Stinky and I have had an absolute smashing day, I have to say. Full of excitement. Stinky and I went to my grandfather's home, and up in his attic he has the most wonderful things. Now, of course, my grandfather has passed away, but his home is still there, and actually my aunt is the one who lives, so I've got lots of aunts, I have to say, and Aunt Daffodil lives in his home, and all my grandfather's possessions are still up there in the attic. And we had a wonderful time, didn't we, Stinky? Yes, I'll show the poppets in a minute, dear. I just want to tell them what we did. We went through crates and boxes and we found all sorts of things. Stinky found an old trumpet, which he was blowing away on the trumpet and making a dreadful racket. Yes, it was very loud, wasn't it? The trumpet. His old explorer's hat that he often used to wear, because my grandfather, my dear poppets, was an explorer. He sailed the high seas and climbed the highest mountains. What's that? What was his name? Well, it was Grandpa Turnbuckle, actually, Stinky. What's that? No, Turnbuckle is his surname, dear. Turnbuckle is his last name. His first name was Milton. Milton Turnbuckle. Grandpa Milton Turnbuckle III. Yes, he was a wonderful, wonderful man, and he had the most wonderful things. And I could have spent just all night up there, just about. We spent the most of the day up there, but I could have continued on into the night. We found all sorts of things. We found pond boats and old tennis rackets, and anything that you could possibly imagine is up there, I am quite sure, and quite certain, I have to say. Well, I am waffling on just a bit, but I'm going to show you this. We found this wonderful old satchel here. Yes, thank you, Stinky dear, which belonged to Grandpa Turnbuckle. Yes, and he'd often use this when he was in a hurry, coming back and forth from the university, I do believe, full of documents and papers. And we did have a look inside, but there was nothing in the front, so Stinky was just having a poke around. Yes, have another look, dear, in the back, but I'm afraid it's empty. But it is rather wonderful, I have to say. Very, very worn, and it just reminds me so much of Grandpa Turnbuckle. It's a treasure, I have to say. Well, I am waffling on just a bit, so I suppose we should introduce the book for today and crack on with story time. Yes, I'm quite excited. Well, today's story is called The Very Noisy Bear by the wonderful Nick Bland. And I do have to mention that wonderful brown bear on the cover has a trumpet, a bit like the one that Stinky found in my grandpa's attic. Yes, he was blowing away on that and making a lot of noise, weren't you, Stinky? Yes, you were, and it was lots of fun, I have to say, and I can't wait to go back there, my dear poppets. The most wonderful things you find in an attic or a basement or in an old shed. Yes, even an old garden shed. It's amazing what you can find in an old shed. And here we go, my dear poppets. In the jingle jangle jungle, there was music in the air. Well, there's lots of animals there in the jungle, and they, of course, are making music. Lots of animals there with instruments, and they are making music. I do love music, I have to say. I'm not particularly good with any instrument. I seem to make a dreadful racket, doesn't matter what instrument I get my hands on, but I like to try, and it is a lot of fun. And it landed in the ears of a very sleepy bear, Stinky. Well, there's a brown bear there, my dear poppets, with a pillow, and he does look rather cross, I have to say. Perhaps it's because he's been woken up and he wants to go back to sleep, I'm not sure. Yes, that could be the reason, I think. You do feel a bit cranky if you don't get enough sleep. It does make you feel a bit cross. "Excuse me," said the bear, "to the music-making sheep. Your band is very noisy and it's time for me to sleep." "Now that you're awake," said the sheep, "perhaps you'd like to stay. Have you ever tried the jungle drums? They're really fun to play." Well, there's Bear there having a bit of a natter with Sheep, And Sheep is saying to Bear, well, have you tried the jungle drums, Bear? They're a lot of fun if you play the jungle drums. I wonder if he will. Do you think he will? Well, perhaps he might. We'll just have to find out. Yes, perhaps he will. Yes, he might give them a go. Lion was on the jungle drums and Bear began to smile. I suppose if I could play the drums, I'd stay, Stinky, a little while. He sat upon the tiny stool, boom, bang, bash. Boom went the noisy bear, boom and bang. And there's Bear there, and he seems to be enjoying it a lot, I have to say. He's really getting into it. He's really thrashing about on those drums and having a rather marvellous time. Yes, boom and bang and bash and crash. It's harder than it looks, said Lion, to play the jungle drum. You might prefer an instrument. You only have to strum, Stinky. Yes, perhaps that's the ticket, I don't know. Zebra had a striped guitar. She handed it, Stinky, to Bear. You hold it over there, she said, and strum it over there. Bear started strumming softly, then he strummed, my poppets, a little more. Well, there he is, my dear ones, and he's strumming on the guitar. I wonder how he's going to manage. I don't know. Perhaps he'll be good at it. He is a bear after all. Yes, perhaps that sort of instrument will suit him very well. He might be very good on the guitar. Then he started strumming wildly. Oh, he's really getting into it, Stinky, with his massive strumming paw. But his claws were long and curly. Oh dear, and they tangled in the strings. Never mind, said Zebra. Guitars, Stinky, are tricky things, my dear poppets. Yes, they are. Very, very tricky. Well, you know what old Mrs. Wiffle Waffle is always saying. Practice makes perfect, so perhaps he just needs to practice a bit more. Yes, you don't give up, you just have to practice. Practicing, my dear poppets, is the ticket. Moose held up his trumpet. Would you like to have a go, he said. All you have to do is take a breath, Stinky, and blow. Look, Stinky, look at him there, taking a breath. Take a breath. Yes, that's the way. Bear took in a giant breath. Well, there he is there, my dear poppets, taking in a giant breath, and I wonder how he will go with the trumpet. Perhaps that will be better for Bear, I don't know. Yes, well, he's tried the guitar and he's tried the jungle drums. Now he's going to try the trumpet. And blew with all his might, my dear poppets. The trumpet made a screeching noise and all the birds took flight. The elephants stampeded and the monkeys left. Screech! Everyone took cover until Bear was out of breath, Stinky. Well, there's Bear there, but the noise was horrendous. A dreadful noise, and it's made all the animals there, made their ears shake, I do believe. It was not a very pleasant noise at all. No, the trumpet is not for Bear. He's just making too much noise and not really making a musical sound. Never fear, perhaps he will find an instrument, I don't know. Your lungs are awfully strong, said Sheep. You must be very proud. But there is another instrument that isn't quite Stinky as loud. Have you ever tried a microphone? It's just a simple thing. You only have to hold it up, clear your throat, and sing. She handed Bear the microphone and counted up to 4. The band began to play a tune and Bear began to. Well, there's Bear there, and he's looking a little bit nervous, but now he has a microphone and perhaps singing will suit him better. How exciting, I wonder what's going to happen. Oh yes, I wonder if this will work for poor old Bear. He has tried very hard, I have to say. Roar, roar went the noisy bear, roar, roar, roar. More cheered the audience, more, more and more. The elephants were dancing and the monkeys sang along. He roared in perfect harmony. Oh, he roared in perfect harmony, Stinky, through every single song. Oh, he's even doing some sort of dance there. He's very proud of himself, and he's quite a talented bear after all that, with quite a magnificent voice. And there he is singing away, and all the animals are very, very impressed, my dear poppets. Yes, they're saying more, more, more. Then when the show was over and the moon had settled in, when everyone was fast asleep, Stinky, well, there's Bear there reliving his magical moment when he was singing for all the crowd, for all the animals there. There he is there staring at the stage. Perhaps he wants to keep singing, I don't know. He tried the violin. Oh, well, that was unexpected. Yes, he decided he'd give the violin a go. Give the violin a crack, and there he is there. The end! And that was called The Very Noisy Bear by Nick Bland. A wonderful book, I have to say. And I did enjoy that, Stinky, very, very much. Yes, the very noisy bear, like the noise we were making today at Grandpa's house in his attic. Yes, you on the trumpet, blowing away at that trumpet, making a lot of noise, and Mrs. Wiffle Waffle banging about, getting into crates and boxes, and having a marvellous time. And my dear Poppets, I can't wait to go back. And you know what? I've had a bit of an idea. I think next time we go back there, I think I'll try and find some things to bring home that I can show you all on the Mrs. Wiffle Waffle show, and you can see for yourself what I found in Grandpa's attic. How exciting! Yes, we'll show our wonderful friends, the dear, dear Poppets and the mums and dads, won't we? What's that? I'm waffling on and story time's come to an end. Yes, I tend to do that, don't I? Well, mums and dads and my dear, dear Poppets, of course, thank you so much for tuning in for story time. I love story time so much, and we've had a wonderful time, haven't we? Yes, we have. Perhaps you could read a book about a very noisy bear, or perhaps you could explore in your attic or basement or in your garden shed. Goodness knows what you might find. And as always, my dear ones, thank you for watching, and until next time, bye.